Hi everybody, this is Janet Wright, and this is a recap video where I describe in detail what I did in today's group energy healing. That was for 36 people in 4 different countries, and including 7 children, ranging in age from 4 to 13 years of age. So to the kids, hi! I don't know, I know 1 or 2 of them watch these videos, so hello. Oh, actually no, 2 of the girls that are doing this triplet set for the first time would probably watch too, so hello young ladies. So anyway, it's kind of hot out. Just to give you some context, it is today's date is August 4th, 2017, and temperature wise today, right now, it is 92 degrees Fahrenheit, which in Celsius for my friends in Europe and lots of different countries that are on that system, it's 33 degrees out. So it's a little warm, particularly for here. I live, for you guys that don't know, we moved just over a year ago across country. So I live in the US on the West Coast now, Olympia, Washington. So it's the Northwest, Pacific Northwest of the country, where it rains a lot in the fall, winter, and spring, but not at all in the summer. If you'll notice behind me, the grass is completely dead because, you know, if you don't water all the time in the summer, your grass just dies, which is fine. Comes back later when it rains. So anyway, first I'm going to just do a little quick summary. If you just have a minute to listen, you know, we'll see how quick my summary is, but I think today's healing actually, okay, well, it's the first of the 3 healings, right? Because it's a mini triplet group healing. That means there are 3 healings in the set. The first is on a Friday, which is today. The second is in 2 days on a Sunday, and then the third is 2 more days from that on a Tuesday. So Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, and they're each 20 minutes long. They are very deep healing because I'm working with the subconscious part of people's spirit, and I'm working with their angels, and I don't have the distractions of explaining what I'm doing to anyone's conscious mind at the time. So we really get a ton done in the 20 minutes, which you'll know if you've watched any of these recaps. It takes me like 30 or 40 minutes to explain what I did in 20 minutes in a healing. But anyway, so, but like I said, this one has an okay summary, okay meaning more concise. I guess too, just if this is the first recap you've seen, you may want to note that I feel like the last 2 recap videos were particularly good. The last set was July 21st, 23rd, and 25th of 2017, and I feel like I'm sure the Friday recap was good, but the Sunday recap was like, I really liked it. It was very helpful. It was about, because I listened to him also. And the angels have recommended a lot to that particular recap to a lot of people. The theme was safety, stability, simplicity, and it's awesome. And this recap is a little bit like that, because this one will be, it just talks about stabilizing, you know, get things flowing as simply as you can, and that's a lot of what this healing was today. Today's the first healing in the set of 3, so a lot of times I'm working with people's space that does not look that good. You know, maybe they don't meditate regularly, or if they do, maybe their technique isn't super efficient. So today's healing is, you know, the first of the 3 is always in a way more critical to get people as present as they can be. But anyway, so that's why I like the July 23rd recap video, but I also like the July 25th recap video, which was the Tuesday one, because it had some really neat ideas about clearing your grounding and diagrams about grounding, which this recap will not have diagrams. It'll have the AccuDoll demonstrations. I'll use the doll to demonstrate like what part of the aura I cleared and all that, but that one has the AccuDial Plus, you know, a little dry erase board where I draw ideas about clearing your grounding, which I think if you're at all unsure about your grounding, that one's a particularly good one. And if you clear your grounding all the time, but you know how key it is and you missed that one, I think, you know, it's absolutely worth it to go back to that one again. So the Safety, Stability, Simplicity is July 23rd recap, and the July 25th 2017 recap is got great grounding diagrams and new ideas that I will touch on in this session as well, about clearing your grounding. Okay, so today's healing, Friday, August 4th, what I did the most was the back of everybody's aura, and also grounding, like a lot of work on the grounding just to make it flow really, really, really well. You know, because it's pretty quick. You can make your grounding wide. You know, I always recommend making it as wide as your whole aura. The aura is the energy field all around you, right? So if she was a person, her aura would probably, you know, if she was a healthy person who meditates, her aura, particularly in the back, would be nice and wide, just as far back as it is in the front, right? That way she'd be centered, right? But, you know, I checked people's aura before starting the healing today, and there were a lot of people with some flat auras. You could totally tell, like, who was like an energy geek and, you know, watched all the other recaps and was rocking the whole, like, checking the width of each aura layer in the back already. Because, I mean, there were some auras where it was like, woo, you know, there's no way you'd get that much flow in each layer back there if you, well, it's unlikely that you'd get such great flow if you didn't consciously know to create it and do it. So there were definitely some energy geek rock stars at the start of this healing, but, you know, everyone else had a lot of compression back here, or they had width, but then, like, their second and their first layers, the ones closest to the body, were really like pancakes, flat pancakes, which can happen, you know, even if they're flowing like 1 hour and then the next hour something happens to you that's a little triggering, you know, that's enough to get them to, like, really clamp up and get very narrow, your aura layers. If the whole idea of aura layers is completely blowing your mind, I would suggest just jot it down and watch it after this. I'll probably link it at the end. It's a 3-video set called 7 Chakras, Aura Layers, Flow. And you just watch all 3. They you know, like, they should, I'll link the playlist so they'll all flow into each other, the 3 videos. But anyway, so like I said, I wanted everybody to get as present as possible. There were people that were pretty rockin', and there were also people that who, you know, had really had rough times recently. So focusing on the back of the aura, you just can't go wrong with that. You know, I measured each aura layer, you know, on and off throughout the work, just to make sure everybody's back of their aura was opening up nicely. Again, there are 7 chakras, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the top of the head, and each chakra generates a layer of the aura. So, like, you know, as a quick diagnostic, which I went over more in that July 23rd one about stability, simplicity, and safety. You know, measure your aura layers, and you know, just pretend, because that's what intuition is. It feels like you're pretending, but it's intuition. So you just take an intuitive read of each aura layer in your aura. So, like, you know, say my 7th layer, it's really out here, you know, it's all the way out here, but, you know, the camera is not that wide, so I'm gonna measure it like this. So, you know, the sides right now of my aura is 7, 6, 5, 4 is this wide, 3rd layer is this wide, 2, see, I told you it was easy, 2 is this wide, 1 is this wide. So my 2nd and 1st layers, the ones closest to my body, generated by my 2nd chakra, which is for emotions, below the belly button, and my 1st chakra, which is for courage, the base of my spine. Those chakras are a little too tight and, like, barely in them, and those layers, they sucked in, right? So what's the quickest way for me to get my space back? I would say the drainage. You always want things to drain right, so that you know, it means that it's clogged down here. My second layer and my first layer are just too clogged down there. So just lots of gold light. So I would say for you, do your measurements, you know, and figure out where you get messed up. And if that's just so beyond you and you're like, Janet, I love you, but I can't do it, then fine. Just work all your drainage, you know, all your 7th layers, wrap all the 7 layers of your aura, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they all wrap underneath your feet, right? So the drainage would be down here. So if there's any clogged energy, hard energy here, that's gonna keep the aura layer tight and compressed, right? So even if you don't wanna play with measuring the width of each aura layer, just comb, you know, imagine out in front of you a copy of the bottom of your aura. So like your bottom of your feet are here, and then all the layers, and then the very bottom of your aura is like here, right? So just comb through it and just imagine any hardness there. You're gonna take your time and just use gold light and just let it wash out. So for me, my other layers weren't so bad, although there is kind of like pea soup, you know, clumpy like applesauce down there for those layers. But 2 and 1 are a little harder, kind of like burnt cookie or something. So, you know, there you go. Second just opened up. First layer down there just opened up. Okay, so now 7, 6, 5, you know, my sides, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, nice and wide. So that's what I did with everybody, but, you know, 36 people at once. But same idea, you know, and the grounding. So I'm going to tell you in order what I did now. So at first, I helped everyone to have a nice wide red grounding. If you watch these videos, you know I'm kind of in love with the lower rainbow colors for your grounding, just because, you know, I feel like it validates the lower chakras, you know, which these ones are easier to be in than these ones because when you wake up in the morning, you come in through the top of your head. So if someone's half present, they're not going to be down here, they're going to be up here. So, you know, obviously you want to be fully present. So I just feel like, you know, these colors, red, orange, yellow, maybe it'll help you draw you down a little better. So anyway, so I helped everyone make a big red grounding of earth energy, and just bring it up with the earth energy. I like to have mine as high as the 3rd chakra. So that's what we did. I mean, I think someone could have opted out of that high as the 3rd chakra thing and just put it as high as the 1st chakra. You know, I'm not like trying to give mandates while I'm healing everybody. You know, it's just a suggestion. So everybody had the nice wide grounding that was red, bring up red earth energy in front and back and sides, right? And then I have 2 videos on grounding too. Well, the second one, part 2, psychic grounding, has diagrams about grounding. Some people were a little out of their body at the start of the healing. One person, it's because of the time difference. So, you know, she's asleep when a lot of these healings start, which makes sense, you know. I don't expect people to, you know, stay up for the healing, but it still works. But anyway, but other people were out of their body just because they were feeling overwhelmed, you know, by their life. So I help people have separate groundings, one for their spirit and one for their body. Like say this is her physical body and she has a spirit body that looks like it, but it's only energy. There's no bones and skin or anything, right? So because each one has an energy system, each one has chakras. So the physical body has 7 chakras along the spine, but there's an energy body that we all have, or called the astral body. You know, everyone has their own, and that has 7 chakras along the spine too. And so that has its own aura and it can have its own grounding. So the start of the healing, at first I was working with just everyone have, you know, just looking at one grounding for everybody. But then I realized, you know, the angels reminded me some people are out of their body and they need grounding too. So I helped, you know, like sort of heal a separate grounding for the spirit and the physical body. So 2 separate groundings. And if that's confusing to you and you don't care, don't worry about it. If it's confusing to you and you have a follow-up question, feel free to post it, you know, on the video and I'll reply. And that's why I like people to post video follow-up questions under the video, you know, or if you have a question about your energy as opposed to emailing me privately, because well, for a couple reasons, but if you email me privately, I mean, like then everyone would do that all the time and I would never have time to actually make a living if I'm answering free email questions all the time. But two, if you can post it under a video, it helps the video. YouTube takes the video more seriously, therefore more people find the video and learn, and more people learn from your question and my answer, you know, so many reasons. But anyway, so then, oh, we did a little bit like what was in the July 25th recap video, where you can have like a rug at the bottom of your grounding. So like here's your feet, right? Here's the bottom of your aura, and then your grounding really goes way down to the center of the earth, right? So like her feet are all the way up here, you know, and so there's like miles down to the center of the earth. And your grounding is that long, traveling down to help you release energy into the center of the earth. So, but you can have, as I described in the July 25th recap, and I diagram it, you can have flat energy blocks right at the bottom. So they're kind of hard to notice unless you think of it like it's a rug. And you just look for the rug. And if there's a rug, then melt it away. Or roll it up and give it to your angels. You know, sometimes if I'm kind of blocked up down there, it might look like 4 or 5 rugs on top of each other. So I'll just kind of intuitively count them. So then when I'm melting them, I kind of know how many are gone and how many are still there. It's just something I do to amuse myself while I'm working on it. But if that's too detailed for you, don't worry about it. You know, the point is, get rid of it. You know, either hand it to your angels, roll it up, hand it to your angels, or just melt it down with gold light so it's gone. Because once it's gone, there's no more like rug at the bottom, then the center of the earth just pulls things down. So you get a real strong waterfall effect with your grounding, which is nice because then you can let go and release energy, and therefore you have a lot better flow and presence. Because if everything's like compressed and stuck in your space, your spirit is actually gonna not be fully present because it's gonna feel too overwhelming and gross. So you're gonna kind of be half in, half out, usually. So what we did is we opened up the back. Well, I'm gonna explain more. So we got rid of the rug at the bottom of the grounding, and I did look at kind of like if there's a house, sort of. This was also described in that July 25th recap, but it's like if you have people's responsibility, like people's pain, people's problems stored in your grounding, it can look kind of like a house with a whole bunch of floors for all the people's garbage that you're carrying. And so I just help people melt that all away, you know, so that took a little bit. And you can do that like, well, if you think that's a big problem for you, being overly responsible for other people and weighed down by their drama, then, you know, like if you feel like people take advantage of you, then that's something you could check for every day if you want, and just melt a whole new house, you know, if there's one in your grounding, you know, because it's not like, oh, I cleared that last year, I'm done. I mean, maybe, but unlikely. Usually, you know, you clear a little bit and just kind of keep tabs on it, you know, and keep clearing. You know, kind of like layers of an onion, you know, you do more and more and more. But anyway, so, oh yeah, then I noticed people had chakra alignment issues. So you would think that, like, you know, you see in all the diagrams, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's like this straight line up and down, right? You probably have never seen a diagram where the chakras are all out of whack and out of alignment, although that is more common than them being all aligned. So, you know, one day when I'm a master of computer graphics, maybe I might learn some computer graphics someday, but I'll probably diagram, you know, with them all out of whack so that you could see what often it looks like. But it'll be like, you know, maybe 1, 7, 6, 5, 4 will be okay, but then third is like over here, second is over here, first is over here. It'll be like wah, wah, wah. You know, it depends how, you know, like one time this morning I checked and it was like wah, 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 wah. You know, it wasn't like that. So the easiest way, which the angel showed me pretty recently actually, which still like a new toy for me, I like it. Rather than heal each one and then they pop back in alignment, you know, like in that along the straight line, you could, with your intention, find the energy blocks that are in your grounding. So way under the bottom of your aura, in your grounding, right? I mean, you have some grounding here, of course, because it goes up this high. But a lot of times the real drama that's happening is further down below the bottom of your aura, between the bottom of your aura all the way down to the center of the earth. So you find like with your intention, you're like, okay, I think there are like 10 energy blocks right here all together, and they're hard and they're black, or they could be bright white, you know, and you just bring up the red earth energy and soak them all, and then the gold light, and you just melt away everybody else's energy from them, and then they just start melting. You know, and then there's like only, instead of 10, there's only 3 left, then 2, 1, and then that causes a better release, and so then the chakras release better, and then they pop back into alignment. Or sometimes they mostly pop back in alignment, but not totally, so then you find some more down here, and you clear just a little bit more, and then it's like, ah, that feels good, you know, so then they're all like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's what I did for everybody. And then I was doing more grounding work with people, and I noticed 2 different things in the grounding that I helped people with. One was fear and avoidance. So it's like, it was generally in the back of the grounding. So like if your grounding is as wide as your whole aura, right? It's like this wide and this wide, right? So then it goes all the way down, and it's that wide, right? So the back of her, she's a person, right? This is the back of her aura, and this is the whole back of her grounding, right? All the way down to the center of the earth. So I noticed like towards the bottom back of everybody's grounding was like sort of this area that they're like, yeah, that's not really there, you know, like to some extent or another, you know, it depends on how much people were, you know, aware already of clearing their grounding. But I think a lot of times, you know, just the back of something, you know, the back of your energy field, sometimes you're not as aware. Of course, you know, if you listen to these recaps, then you're like all about clearing the back of your space. But anyway, so it's like if you want to do it on you, just imagine, you know, like probably down further, you know, maybe, I mean, because you're already clearing the back of your aura, hopefully. And you know, you could just make a copy of your space out in front of you, like, and here's you in profile looking forward, so here's your back of your aura, and then just lots of gold light, and just kind of poof it out more. Poof out your aura more, let it expand and flow better, so then it dumps energy better all the way down to the center of the earth, right? But then if you imagine just your grounding out in front of you, a copy of your grounding, miniature of course, because like say if this is the top of where your 3rd chakra is, and then the grounding starts, then it goes all the way down, you know, way below the earth to the center of the earth, right? So it's obviously reduced copy. But okay, so you see like towards the bottom back, there's probably an area where you're like, yeah, I'll deal with that tomorrow. I'll deal with that next year. I'll deal with that in 2 years, you know, and it's stuff that's clogging up your grounding, and it's just pointless to keep putting it off, you know. But you kind of have to nudge yourself, because you can feel like this sense of like, oh, it's too much, I just can't deal, you know. So if that's a really strong sensation, like for me, I feel that, but I feel like I know better, so I can just like nudge myself into it, like, come on, come on, come on, there's no point in tripping over this every day, come on, come on, come on, come on, you know, and then it's releasing, you know. But if you feel it like so strongly, like, no, Janet, you don't understand, that's terrible, I can't handle it, then there's time to have your angels help you through it, you know, and just be like, okay, angels, help me get rid of this drama in the back of my grounding, because you're just so making it worse for yourself. I mean, I know that people can get into a headspace where they don't want to deal with their problems, but the more, there's a way to just let them go without obsessing about them, you know, like literally, not intellectually, not, you know, like, but just like literally imagine them like boxes, and just, you know, angels, please help me, you know, and then just melt them down, or hand them to your angels, you know, because you want every little part of your grounding to be like really nice and flowy. You don't want any fear or avoidance, because it's just going to add to your stress and prevent you from, because if you clear all that out, then this will drain better, which means all these chakras will drain better, which means you'll be way more present, and you'll be able to get a lot more done and have more fun. So then the other thing I was looking at in people's grounding is resentment. Resentment. I do have a recording called Releasing Resentment, Betrayal, and Conflict Energy, which is a 26-minute recording that you could download for no charge from my website, janetwrightreadings.com. And that one, it does work with grounding, for sure, but it also, I don't think it talks a lot about the heart chakra. It may, but it talks about releasing the resentment and just, but anyway, this is the chakra, fourth, that blocks up, and then you feel like things aren't fair and you hold grudges and you feel jaded and bitter and blah, 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 and sort of like a failure. That's the one right there. Open it up, open it up. So, you could just get gold light and put it in front of your heart, put it in your heart chakra, and just imagine unblocking the front and expand the front and unblock the back. You may have to have a copy out in front of you of your chakra, so it's like a cylinder, and there's a round back, and like the back of mine is all blocked up. So I'm just gonna use gold light, and it's like 3-ply, really hard energy. So I'm just melting it. There we go. So now it's 2-ply of hard energy. There we go. So it's just one hard layer of energy, but there we go. Ah, that was nice. So I just pop more into my lower chakras because, like I said, you come in through the top of your energy, the top of your 7th chakra, right? So at that time, my 4th was so blocked, even though it was fine, like, 20 minutes ago, but my 4th got really blocked. Somebody was jumping in my space. And then, so it was hard to be here. So then I wasn't in my 2nd or my 1st. So by opening up the blockages in the back and the front of my 4th, then it was easy to be here. So then I could come in here, and then I could jump back in here too. So now I'm just gonna comb out a little bit and make sure everything stays wide and flowing. Like I'm imagining the back of my aura, back 2 layers are a little too cramped. So there we go, 2 just popped out and expanded. First layer, there's a lot of white in my first layer. Yeah. So I'm bringing up red earth energy from the center of the earth, and just kind of soak the back of my first layer, which is right up against my body, right? So I'm just gonna soak it in red earth energy and gold light. Yeah, nice. If that didn't work, then of course I'm gonna check the grounding, the drainage, the bottom of all the aura layers, and just, you can unblock all of them at once. With gold light from your imagination, or from imagine you have a garden hose that's gold light, or a fire hose, or like a flamethrower that's gold fire. But anyway, so clearing resentment and fear and avoidance from your grounding. That's nice to do. So probably people felt more able to just do things rather than put them off today after this healing, and probably, hopefully, people also felt better focus, because a lot of times resentments, what it does is it's consciously or subconsciously, it makes you very distracted because you keep thinking about, why did they do that? What am I supposed to tell that person? So when you release all the resentments even out of your grounding, then it's better for focus. Like I was telling somebody earlier today, like your 7th chakra in the top of your head and your 3rd at under your sternum. So 7th and then 3rd right here. Like if your sternum is a bone that goes down here, so then it ends right there. So 3rd chakra and 7th chakra. If you heal those both at the same time, that's good for time management. So because top of your head, that's where you make decisions. That's where you remember your goals. You kind of set your direction. And then 3rd chakra, right below the sternum, is that's where you take action. So you can just imagine opening up the front of that and opening up the back of it. The back of mine is a little clogged. It's sort of like 3/4 open, 1/4 clogged, but that 1/4 clogged is just waiting for somebody to cord it and block it up more. So there we go. That's fully unblocked in the back. So anyway, if you're big on time management and you really want to make mindful choices about how you're spending each hour of each day, these 2 chakras, 7 and 3. We didn't do that in the healing though. It's just my angels wanted me to throw that in. Probably some of my energy geeks want to get better at their time management. But we did do 7th layer I was working on everybody's 7th layer all around, and then that brought me to aura repair. One of my new one of the participants, this is her first time working with me. Hi. And she said that she had found me on YouTube because she searched for aura repair. And of course I told her to check out my 2 videos called Energy Wax Part 1 and Part 2, which are great to really kind of geek out and get real well informed about that stuff. Wax in that context is spelled W-H-A-C-K-S, whack, like someone's throwing energy whack, 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 whack. Energy Wax Part 1 and 2. But anyway, so knowing that she was interested in that, and I could see that she needed some help with her aura. Actually, that was part of why the theme was about expanding the back of the aura and also healing it. But it was really about expanding the back of the aura and getting better drainage, because she and a lot of the participants, they did have some damage, particularly in the back, but the quickest way to fix it is just to heal the whole back and expand it a lot, because when it's all compressed like that, it's very easy for people when they throw energy, it makes a big giant rip, and then you get a lot of chakra damage and it's a huge mess. So if you just keep them all wide and flowing, then you're much safer back here. So it's like great energy self-defense. So I'm always happy for new participants to join in and tell me how they found me. Okay, so I did 7th layer with people, help people with aura repair, particularly up at the top. That is a very common place to have damage. So I combed through all the upper layers, because some people just had like some stagnant energy up here, and other people had stagnant energy plus, you know, rips, actual rips. And if you comb through the top of your aura, like right here, it always feels good. Because your 7th chakra needs to send energy all the way up to the top of your 7th layer. 7th chakra needs to send energy all the way up to the top of the 7th layer, right here. So like a purple fountain going up. And so if you have too many energy blocks here, your 7th chakra has to work way too hard. It's like, so if you comb through this and melt away all the blocked energy, then your 7th chakra very easily can send up that purple confidence energy, and then it fountains down your 7th layer all the way around, down to the bottom of your 7th layer, and then it's drawn up, you know, up through the center line of your body into the bottom of your 7th chakra, and it fountains out the top again, and then when it gets to the top, it fountains all the way around your 7th layer and back down. So that is explained much better probably in the 3 video set that I already mentioned, that I will link at the end, which is called 7 Chakras Aura Layers Flow. But anyway, so I did comb through the top of everybody's aura layers right here above the head, and then I help people, I'm looking at my notes which are below the camera. Oh yeah. Okay, so I help people, as I've said before, comb through the bottom of all the layers just to get better drainage, because you can get like, it's like a plug in a tub, you know, it can plug up here and then the layer doesn't drain right, so it gets clogged and compressed. So I comb through here, but at the same time, this is kind of a cute trick. At the same time of combing here, I comb through the grounding too. So this is the top of the aura, which is, the bottom of the aura, which technically is in your grounding, but I don't like really equate the two. So like the bottom of each aura layer, like that part where the plug could be at the very bottom of each layer, I comb through that, but at the same time I was combing through the bottom of the grounding, like getting rid of the rugs and stuff down here, so to maximize the suction. So it's like you can kind of knock the stagnant energy out of the way from here, but then it goes down, and I didn't want any of it to like make a big pile at the bottom of their grounding, because that's kind of overwhelming. So I wanted to make sure, so I was doing 2 things at once. I was combing underneath the feet, everybody's feet, underneath at the bottom of all those aura layers, and combing the very bottom of the grounding, you know, at the same time, just to be like, you know, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. So that's nice. I think it tends to make people, you know, feel a lot better. And that's something that I would say always you could check, you know, like your grounding, does it have a big pile of energy blocks in it? Like if I check my grounding right now, the bottom of it, yeah, it's got like, there's about 10 of them. It's like a stack. So I'm just melting away the cords from those energy blocks, energy cords going to other people, and I don't worry about who they go to. And then there's like the whole stack except for like 3 more. So then these have a lot more cords on them. And this one actually has a being, which don't freak out about it. It just looks a little cloudy and murky. It's like I'm a being, but I'm a really big human being, you know, that takes a body, right? But you can get these little like cloudy, murky things, you know, that are just a little strange and they don't belong in your energy field. So when I notice that, I just say, okay, angels, could you please remove that? You know, and then I just wait for 10, 20 seconds. And then that fogginess goes away. So then it's just 3 or 4 energy blocks without the sort of misty fogginess around it. So, and then I'm just gonna melt away those energy blocks. Yeah. That's nice. So, then I did more in the back of the aura. And I used that new person as a sample. I used a lot of different people as samples in this healing, but I don't know, the angels are reminding me about her because, well, she needed help with aura repair, you know, and she just had a lot of compressed, her aura layers in the back of her head were really compressed, and so then there were like rips and tears back here. So I just helped her and everybody, you know, like comb through the outer layers of the aura behind the head and the inner layers of the aura behind the head. And I kind of did that at the same time. So like layers 1, 2, 3 and layers 4, 5, 6, 7. And I just kind of, you know, because I wanted to mend up if there were any rips and tears, and I wanted to melt away any hard chunks of energy. Because it's like, if you have hard chunks of energy, all it takes is, you know, one little bitter person to just chuck something at the back of your head, and then it goes and it makes a big rip, and then it can bust through some of your chakras, and then, you know, all of a sudden you accomplish nothing in 4 hours and you feel like an idiot. Not that that ever happens to me. The key is not that it could never happen, it's just hopefully you figure it out by like a half hour of feeling like crazy and unproductive, and then you're like, aha, I'm gonna check my aura. But anyway, so I help people with this whole back part, particularly behind the head. It seems like that's a key self-defense area. I mean, the whole back of the aura is a big self-defense area, but back ahead for sure. So I helped everyone kind of expand that and have it more flowy and colorful with their own energy. Then we were near the end at this point. So it was just like little finishing touches at this point. I imagine all the 7 chakras out, you know, like I don't use a doll when I work on people. So I just imagine the 7 chakras of everybody, you know, and then I run gold light and unblock the fronts and the backs of all of them. And then the top and the bottom of the 7th, you know, but the fronts and the backs of all of them. And so you just do that with yourself. You know, by the way, don't do what I do at home. Don't do this at home, kids. Like, it's very safe to heal yourself. It's a big step in advancement to be safe enough to heal even just one other person. And, you know, it's not like you can never do it, but I think you should really get really awesome with your own healing and just have like a professional level of skill healing yourself. And then I think, you know, you could consider, I mean, at some point I'll have videos on how to do that safely, but you could do some basics, you know, for somebody else, like give them a healing, but it's a completely different level of spiritual risk to heal several people at the same time. So I do not recommend it. You know, by the time you're that advanced, you won't even need my advice. You know, it's just, so like I said, you know, healing whole groups of people at the same time, not recommended by me personally, even though I'm doing it, you know, but I've, you know, I got some skills. I've got some self-defense skills, you know, safety, stability, that kind of thing. Anyway, I just worry about people that try stuff at home. But you can't go wrong healing yourself. It's, you know, if you use the right techniques, it's always going to make you more safe, more stable. But anyway, so I helped everyone unblock their chakras just a little bit at the end. Although the aura stuff and the grounding stuff really helped everyone get way more present. So that's why I just did a little bit on the chakras in the front and the back of all the 6 chakras, and then the one in the top of the head, top and bottom of that one. And then, a little bit more combing above the 7th chakra, just the top of that aura, all the layers above there. And then a little bit, there are 3 gold creative rings that generate creative energy, gold creative energy, and they send it down into the 7th chakra. So I just unblocked those a little bit, like you can imagine yours out in front of you. I mean, they're probably, you know, maybe they're about this big, you know, each one, and they go like this. So 1, 2, 3, you know, so they're right here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so they're maybe mostly in your first layer, maybe a little bit in your second layer, the top one. But anyway, so I just, you know, brought up red earth energy and gold light, and red earth energy and gold light, just to kind of comfort them and, you know, melt away any blocked energy in them that was ready to clear at the time. And then I'm looking at my notes. Just a touch more with the red earth energy, you know, to freshen up the grounding, and just a touch more with the bottom of the grounding, just to help people release fear and avoidance, so that, you know, they're not kind of making their life more complicated unnecessarily. And that was it. That's all I did. So I hope that makes sense. And if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to post them under the video. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. And if you want to sign up for one, you can sign up. You have to think ahead a little bit, like about 6 days in advance at least. But the payment is, you just pay on my website. It's real simple. And you pay for the whole set at once. So it's a set of 3 healings. At this point, it's $30 to $50 sliding scale US for the set of 3. All right, bye.